So yeah, this video I'm about to do is explaining the even numbers, and there's a couple mistakes. You need the instructions function or relation and y, and then right here these numbers are incorrect. That number 9 should be a 3, should be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry about that. So let's do the even ones. Number 2, state the range values of number 4 below. Should be an L. Sorry. So number 4, we're looking at the range values on number 4. So what are the range values? We're talking about the y values. So what are the range values of number 4? -2, -3, -1, and 0. So -2, -3, -1, and 0. Since we're talking about range, you can put an R right in front of it. Those are your range values of number 4. Let's move on to question 4. Is number 4 a function or a relation?
Relation.
It's a relation. So what would we do right here? We put relation. And the question is, why is it a relation? Because what? Because the input 2 gives you different outputs. So we could say that the input 2 gave me a -3, and then the input 2 gave me a 0. We know that that machine's broken. So over here on the y, or the explanation, it's a relation because the input 2 gave us different outputs. Let's go for number 6. Is number 6 a function or just a relation? Function, right? You plugged in a 1, plugged in a 2. All the inputs are different, so it is a function. I don't know exactly what that function is, but I do know that it is a function. I never plugged in the same input twice and got out different outputs. So it's definitely a function. And on the over here, because for each input there's exactly one output, you could say that. Or you could say you never plugged in the same number twice and got out different outputs. Number 8, function or just a relation? Function or just a relation? Okay, so is a machine working or is a machine broken? It's working. Now some of us are thinking, wait, no, you plug in a 0 here and you plug in a 0 there, the machine's broken. But what does the 0 give you as an output? A 5. So you plug in a 0, you get out of 5. Plug in a 0 again, you get out of 5 again. That makes total sense. The machine's working, right? You never plug in the same value twice and get out different outputs. So number 8, it is a function. Function. And again, for each input, there's exactly one output. Bless you. So for each input, there's exactly one output. Whoops. All right. So down here, number 10, is this a relation or just, is it a function or just a relation? Relation. If you do the vertical line test, this fails the vertical line test because, as you could see, it crosses at 2 different points. So, whoops. So it doesn't matter where you move it to, it crosses at 2 different points. So this is, it fails the vertical line test, it's a relation. You can do that. Why? It fails the vertical line test. Or you could even get really fancy and you could say, like, the input 2 gave me 2 different outputs, +1 and -1, right? From the origin, the input, the x value of 2, has 2 y values right on top of each other. So we could say that it's kind of like showing off your knowledge here, right? The input 2 gave me 2 different outputs, 1 and -1. I mean, the explanation, it fails a vertical line test, that's good enough. But you could say like the input 2 gave me two different outputs, 1 and -1. That's how we know the machine's broken. So that's about it on this side for the even ones. Let's turn the page. Back side, let's look at number 12. Is this a function or a relation? You could use a vertical line test. Only one dot, only one dot, only one dot. Uh-oh. Right there, it's 2 dots. So it fails the vertical line test. There's a dot right there and right there. So is it a function or a relation? It's just a relation, not a function. Why? Because it fails the vertical line test. Or you could say that the input 2 gave you two different outputs, -1 and 4. Think about that. Here's the input 2, the x value of 2. It gives you 4 and also -1 as the outputs. All right, guys, I know it's a long video, but how about number 14? Is that a function or just a relation?
It's a function.
Function. You never plug in the same number twice. So for each input, there's exactly one output. Let's write that down, function. Moving on to number 16 right here. True or false? If you plug in the number 3 and get out the number 4, then plug in the number 3 again and get out the number -4, then it cannot be a function. It's just a relation.
False.
That is true. You plug in the number 3 and you get out the number 4, then you plug in the number 3 again and you get out the number -4. It cannot be a function. It's a broken machine. It's a relation. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Number 18, fill in the blank. A blank is like a machine.
18.
A function. A function is like a machine. For each what? Input. There's exactly one output. If you ever plug in the same input and get out different outputs, then your machine must be broken. Therefore, it cannot be a function. Must be a relation. That's about it for the even ones.